Hey, welcome to the Babes Talking Business podcast. We are your hosts. I am Lauren. I'm a mama, wife, author, and a network marketing professional. I'm really passionate about empowering women to step into their power and becoming self-led, self-ignited, and excited when it comes to their finances, businesses, relationships, and life. So I love we have created this space where women can come together to rise together, to have real and raw conversations and be reminded of their power, their worth, and their vision when they forget. Because when one woman wins, we all win. And sometimes we just need someone to go first to show us what's possible.
And I'm Chani. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur who loves to diversify the way I create wealth. And I love empowering and teaching you about it too. I'm an international speaker, a course creator, a professional network marketer, but my favorite job of all is being a mama. It's really important for me to fulfill my life's purpose with the impact and the work that I do. But my highest value is family. And so navigating the balance between being a kick-ass woman in business and a conscious mother is where I'm at, and excited to share that with you too. Hang around me long enough and I'll show you how to step into your full potential and have you cultivating health, wealth, and fortune in a soulful and joyful way that feels good. Welcome to episode 92 of the BTB podcast. Today's episode is an interview that I did with a beautiful friend of mine, all around creating a big leap in your wealth and in the lifestyle that you want to achieve, and how that has looked for me in my business from going back to 2015, 2014, being a broke registered nurse with no savings, living week to week, putting $5 of fuel in my car at a time and hardly paying the bills, to being in a life now where it is so abundant, so many opportunities available, having a portfolio in property that is both in Australia and international, and all the things in between. And I really loved this conversation because we spoke a lot about what it has looked like over the 8 years. How do you build your financial literacy? How do you learn about budgeting and saving? What are the choices you have to make? What are the sacrifices? What are the things that happen to create a lifestyle like this? So I hope you enjoy this podcast. It was so much fun to film and to create. It was on a Zoom, so we had some guests. I also have some epic show notes for you that I refer to in the episode, which are all of my favorite books and podcasts for you guys to listen to. Enjoy.
So Shan, I firstly just want to say a massive thank you. I feel so honored, so blessed, so grateful, so appreciative of you being here today and spending a little bit of time with us. We have kind of given today's call, I suppose, a bit of a theme being around big leap, wealth, lifestyle, and money. So this is a hot topic, and I've seen so many notes going off inside the team group and things as well, and just how excited everyone is here today to have you in the house. So I want to hop out of the way. I know we're just going to have a bit of a casual conversation today, Shan, but I would really love for you to start off with sharing your story once again, because we had this incentive drop last month, and we actually have women on this call who only joined the business a few weeks ago, and
Wow.
They got their butt on this call, which is so incredibly exciting. So they haven't had the honor of maybe hearing your story before. So tell us, who's Chani? When did she come into the Juice Plus community, and why did she come in?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I have been looking forward to this call for so long, ever since Kimberly invited me. I was like, I get to hang out with these girls. I cannot wait. So huge congrats to you all for, just ticking off the criteria, whatever that was, to be here. A little bit about my story. I started this business in 2015. I was 26 years old at the time. I was a full-time registered nurse, and my main intrinsic motivation to be here in this space, regardless of the resistance and all the stuff that was coming up for me, was I was in a really scary financial position. I had been a nurse at that point for about 5 years, but I still managed to just find myself living paycheck to paycheck. Even with a pretty awesome average Australian income, I somehow still had no savings. I had a maxed out credit card of about $12,000 that I had accumulated over the years being a student nurse and not really having any financial literacy around credit cards and how they work and how you're meant to pay them back and all those things. I had personal loans, like cash converters loans, because I just, was running out of money. So that would be my next thing. I had Afterpay, Zip Pay coming out of my ears. I was just in a really scary financial position where I was putting $5 of fuel in my car at a time because I was in so much scarcity, and giving myself a $20 bill to live for the week before payday again. And I suppose I got to a place where I thought, there's something wrong with this picture. I don't know why I'm here or why all my friends are gallivanting across the globe, but yet I cannot put a single penny aside to even just save, let alone pay my bills on time. I was paying the monthly minimum repayment on my credit card and just finding that so difficult. So this business came into my life for a reason, I know, and not just to help me with that, I know, but to help me grow and learn so much. And I'm forever grateful that I met my friend Anthony at a random personal development course that my boyfriend at the time, husband now, but my boyfriend at the time literally dragged me into the room. On a Saturday. He said, "You've got to come to this," because he obviously knew I had some stuff I had to work on. And I sat down next to this guy, and we had to do an activity where we had to converse with each other and share with each other what we're passionate about in life and what we do and what we want to do. And it was crazy how much we aligned with our values around health and wellness and impact and growth. And we connected after that, and the rest is history. He was a part of Juice Plus. He showed me this business model. I said no for 6 months. I was like, get your crazy Juice Plus away from me. I do not want to have anything to do with your pyramid scheme. But 6 months on, he did a really great job of just keeping the light on for me and checking in with me. I had been on the product for about five or 6 months, and obviously had an amazing result, because everybody who takes our beautiful product does. And I said to him, "Hey, I have a few people who could really benefit from this. What's your link?" And he was like, "Why would I give you my link? Why don't you just, open a virtual office and pop them under you? You'll get some money back." And my ears kind of were like, "Money? Oh, okay. I can do that." And I got to senior partner in so quick, 30 days, because of that intrinsic drive of, oh my gosh, I could pay my credit card off with this. So initially I just joined literally for $500 a month, just so I could get rid of that credit card debt. But I'm still here 8 years on. It was just my 8-year anniversary on Halloween, so 2 weeks ago. And oh my gosh, it's just been the most amazing journey.
Incredible. So tell us then, I know we all stalk you on social media. We can see what you're up to, but tell us, I know you're in a different season of life right now. And, once you started cleaning up the money, the why got even stronger, right? I know when you wanted to step into motherhood, you wanted to really use this business in a smart way for you. So tell us a little bit about life right now.
Yeah. Well, I have a little 18-month-old boy. His name is Rui. And for all the mamas on the line, you'll know just how beautiful this phase is. I am just loving it so much. So yes, I get to be a mum first because of this business. I get to do all the things that I had hoped and wished for this season of life with him. But yeah, we live in Palm Beach. We live in a beautiful house on the beach here. It is my dream home. I literally manifested it. That's another story for another day of how our house came about. But we do obviously Juice Plus, which is my number one. And then on the side to Juice Plus, we have a couple of investments and developments happening, which is Maddie's wheelhouse. My husband, he is a builder. And he had a construction company when we first got together. He doesn't do that anymore. But that's our life now. So we juggle a few businesses, but most important to me, I juggle mum life. And that's my most favorite role and the one I'm the most proud of. Yeah.
Incredible. And congratulations. We're always cheering you on every step of the way. We love seeing all the goodness happening over in Bali as well. So you've got a global property portfolio, right? So congrats. We're celebrating you big time today.
Thank you.
We'd love to know though, because we want to hone in a little bit on learning a little bit more around your money mindset. Like, how did we really go from what's relatively a short time from putting $5 in at the servo to where you are right now? If you kind of go back to stage one, when I'm going to guess, because I know I've been there as well, there's an energy of kind of lack and scarcity. Yeah. How did you start to build your business with that energy kind of in the driver's seat initially? Did you have to shift it? What did you kind of have to do from a mindset point of view to really start moving towards that next level of wealth creation?
For me, my money stuff, my story, my default story, I call it my mean mantra around money, was that money was hard. And money, you had to work really hard for your money, and it was easy to lose once you got it. And I had all these stories, and truthfully, a lot of those stories came from my childhood and certain people in my life as I was growing up who did not do it intentionally at all. But it was the stories, right? Like, no, we can't have that. We can't afford that. Or no, we can't go there. We can't afford that. Or, just those little things that are so like you wouldn't even think would affect you, but doing the work as an adult, I'm like, wow, that really affected me, because it became my subconscious belief and thought. All these money stories about people with money just rip you off and all these things, right? So coming into this business, and I know the reason why I was in the position I was in was because I had no financial literacy. I wasn't surrounded by people who had great money stories. I wasn't putting myself in the rooms and on the tables with people who were expansive and had created what I had hoped and wished to create one day. That just wasn't my reality. And what I love about this business so much is you're instantly put into close proximity with these people. And I just didn't know this world even existed. So when I joined this business, the personal development and the growth and all of it that comes for free, it just started to kind of like plant seeds. And all of a sudden I started to learn about new realities around stories and around money. And I'd see people who were creating wild abundance and they weren't ripping people off. And then I was watching people just do amazing things with their money, whether it was invested or tithe it, to charity or whatever it was. I started to see, wow, with a lot of money comes a lot of good. And I really had to make the choice to learn. How could I learn about this world? So I put myself in the rooms and on the tables with those people. I put myself in those uncomfortable positions where I was the very small fish who had no idea, like no financial literacy. I couldn't have told you how to budget, how to save, how to invest, how to duplicate my money and have it work for me overnight while I was sleeping. Like none of that was ever exposed to me. So it looked like, first of all, me reading books about money or listening to podcasts. And then I kind of like had a lot of questions because a lot of it was like mumbo jumbo for me. So it was like another language. And I felt a bit of shame in that. I felt a bit like, should I know like what these people are talking about? Because that doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm too scared to ask. But I've decided like, no, I'm not going to play small here and just stay with I'm afraid of asking what that even means. So then I'd get in front of people and say, hey, what does that even mean? Like what when you say that word, what does that look like? I don't understand. So it was about making a choice to put myself in close proximity to people who did have financial literacy and were creating massive waves and moves in the world with their money, but also like replacing Netflix for podcast episodes and audibles and books about this topic. So I guess that's how it kind of came about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because what I'm hearing here as well is it's radical responsibility first for where we are right now, right? So for those sitting on the call that are feeling that they're in that lack and scarcity energy, I love that you dug a stake in the ground and it's like ownership. This is where I am right now and it's not okay with me anymore. And that moved you into an energy of resourcefulness. Well, what do I need to know? What's the solution? How can I be open to creative solutions? How can I empower myself with education to get better? Right? Jim Rohn's quote, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. So if you think about, Shan, maybe what would be some of the books or the podcasts that really helped you, I guess, gauge just those first few stages of wealth creation? What helped you feel that little bit more empowered? Was there a couple of authors or podcasts or books that you can rattle off?
I have so many, and I'll share them all with you because I don't want to miss any. But some of my favorites, The Millionaire Next Door. First of all, at first I was so bored. I was like, I listened to it on Audible and I was like, this is so boring. But then I really grasped the concept of the millionaire next door and, you know, living below your means and being frugal with your money and all that. And I was like, wow, this is okay. So that one was a great one. Unshakable by Tony Robbins, epic one. The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape is an awesome book with a budgeting system. That's where I started, just like a basic budgeting system that allowed me to learn how to disperse. Like, money comes in, this is how I disperse it, this is how I save, this is how I pay my bills on time. Like, sounds so basic, right? But I just didn't have I had never had it taught to me. Why don't they teach this in school? I don't understand. So those are some of my favorites. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is another great one. Oh gosh, there's many, but I will send you the list of my absolute favorites. And little by little, these books and podcasts just started to, like, there was a thread between them all that I started to understand, and it was about discipline, and it was about living below your means, and it was about making the choice, the uncomfortable choice, to be strict with money dispersion. And that was my big problem, right? Because of my money issues I had, my problems and my stories, I didn't have the discipline to do that. So learning about, wow, okay, so people who have wealth, they're really disciplined with their money. They're actually quite smart with how they do that. Then wanting to emulate that, because that's what I wanted as well. It has paid dividends, like, 8 years down the track.
Incredible. And so with then your Juice Plus journey, like what you've been able to create here, I remember hearing you say once, and I think it was at like a workshop or maybe it was at a conference, but you said something along the lines of, I didn't want my Juice Plus income to just go to waste, right? So you're obviously starting to do this financial literacy work on an energy and strategy point of view. For when you're at a time when it was $500 a month in Juice Plus or $1,000 a month, how did you, I want to hear more about that story. You didn't want your Juice Plus income to go to waste, even at that level.
Yeah. The reason I didn't want it to go to waste was obviously because I was in so much trouble at the time. Like, financially, I had a huge weight on my shoulders. So I needed to make this work, and I didn't want to waste a cent. Even though it would have been so nice to, splurge on all the nice things as my bonuses came in, I just thought, no, I need to get myself out of this position. And so what that looked like for me is I chipped away at that credit card debt, which I ended up paying off in 18 months. Huge. I remember the moment, chopped the credit card in half. I've never had a credit card since. So my cars, my everything that I have, there are no loans. And that's something I'm really proud of, because I vowed to never live beyond my means again. So when I spoke about I didn't want my Juice Plus money to go to waste, I wanted to save. After I paid my debt, I just wanted to save it, because I saw the power of investing money to then have it work in the background for you. This was after reading the books and learning and asking the questions and putting myself in the rooms and on the tables. I understood the concept of true passive income, which is where you have income, you invest it into something and it works for you in the background, and then it pays you a dividend, it pays you a profit. And it's like, I could totally just put some money aside and save, do that in a couple of years, and then have that working for me and make extra money for me. Like, that makes total sense. Like, a little bit of sacrifice for long-term satisfaction, right? So yeah, I had a mentor teach me something that was game-changing for me, and I'll explain how it's worked for me 8 years down the track. But he said, every single cent that comes in, start with just saving 1% of it. So my Juice Plus income would come in. Let's say I earned $300 that month. I would just put $3 aside in my bank account. It was just 1%. And then every quarter, he said, just increase that savings percentage just by 10%. Just by 10%. So not like 1% to 11%, like 10% of 1%. So then the next quarter, I was saving 1.1%. And then the next quarter after that, it was, what is that after that? It's like goes to 2.1, I think. So what that allowed me to do is I was putting money aside every month. And yes, at the beginning, it was a tiny amount. Like, I was like, this is dumb. How do I speed this along? But what it taught me was that when you save even just 1% and then you increase it by just a smidge, it's enough to not just regulate you. It's enough to not move your center. Because if you were just to go, oh, you know what, I could probably put 10% aside, you'd be like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm kind of feeling that elsewhere. I'm going to just stop doing this altogether. But the energetics behind slowly increasing it every 3 months just by 10%, it's doable. And because you are now in this like energy of I can do this, and you're watching your bank account just slowly increase month after month after month, you start feeling really good about money. Like, you log into your bank account and you're like, how do I have $1,000 in there? That's crazy. Like, I can keep doing this. Like, I want to save more. Like, it becomes a game. Anyway, that's my personality. But I was like, wow, I can't wait. Like, what's going to happen when I get to 15%? Like, and what I found was happening is because I was directing my energy to this type of discipline, more money started to come in. I can't explain it. Like, my business exponentially started to grow because I was having this discipline and I was having this focus. And that was me saying to God, spirit, source, the universe, whatever, like, I've got this. I'm in control. Like, I am not dysregulated about money anymore. Like, I feel really good about this. And then, of course, the universe is like, well, here's more. And at one point, it just felt like money was falling out of the sky, literally. So over time, I got to 40% of my income starting to get saved. And by this point, like, I had a pretty substantial Juice Plus business. So I was putting thousands of dollars into that savings account every month. And that, of course, has led me to be able to do what I do today with Maddie, where we invest in different things and diversify our income. But what it also has done for me, which I didn't even think about back then, was becoming a mum. I wanted to have some time off my business. I wanted to have a sabbatical and really just be present with my new baby and transitioning into motherhood. And most traditional business owners are on, regardless of baby, or like, you know, the babies come and maybe they can have a couple of weeks off, maybe they've got staff, but they're still on. They're still like, it's still something in the background for them. But this business allowed me to just go, I'm offline. Like, and I don't know when I'm ready to come back online, but I'm offline. And I really just like really relished in that newborn bubble, and I just didn't even have to worry about this. But full transparency, of course it happened this way. And this is just the reality of business. I had 2 massive leaders leave at that time while I was offline. And so one was a 24 club and one was an 18 club. So just like that, literally overnight, 50 clubs just gone out of my business. And I want to share this with you, not for you to be like, oh my gosh, that can happen. Like, yes, it can happen. It happened to me. And what I loved in that time, my paycheck did actually drop a little bit as I was like, oh, I'm going to have to like build this back up to where it was. But my 8 years of savings was my buffer. And I was not emotionally dysregulated. My center did not move. And I didn't have to rush back online because I was like, I'm good. So I share that story because I want to just show you like what's available, not only with this business, like how amazing it is and what it can provide, but also the financial literacy and the saving and the discipline, like what that did for me 8 years down the track that I didn't expect. But so grateful that I had that to land on. And that to me is like priceless. I'm just so happy that I had that.
Incredible. So much, right? My pages are just being filled right now as well. And we're so grateful for, I think the questions that we had in the group, ladies, Chani has covered a lot of that. And a lot of the strategy part of what you guys asked about. I think all of these beautiful books and podcast recommendations are going to help with that. But one question that did come up, Shan, was you've spoken into how, you know, it's not just the strategy, but it's actually the energy and your money mindset, right? As you've grown, that has really grown with you. You created new evidence. Once you could handle what you've got, the universe is like, here you go, you're going to have some more right now. Do you do some basic like daily disciplines when it comes to your money mindset? Like what might be some of those real simple rituals that you do yourself to continue to grow? Because it's not a one-time thing, right?
No, it's continuous, and things will continue to happen that'll like totally blindside you to really test your money beliefs. Like what happened, 18 months ago, that was pure perfection. Like a lot of people would hear that story and go, oh my gosh, that's my worst nightmare. That was pure perfection for me because it really elevated my energy to the next level of, no, I'm worthy of XYZ. Like I deserve it. I know that I can attract that back in my business. I know I have what it takes. And it really, the daily rituals for me really come down to a lot of self-worth work. I think that's very important, especially when we are talking about money, because you might want something really bad, but if you don't believe you're worthy of it, it's like you saying, yes, I want more, but actually just don't give it to me. So it's a lot of self-worthiness. It's about understanding what your strengths are, your gifts, why you're amazing and what you do is so impactful and important. And it really, for me, it comes down to putting myself first. And I know it sounds disjointed, but by me putting myself first, prioritizing myself and really diving into a lot of self-worth work, which is, it can be so simple. It can be like, no, I've got boundaries. I'm not going to open my inbox or emails up before I look after myself because I'm more important. Or it might be things like journaling and like basic scripting, like this is what I am hoping to attract into my life, and this is why, and this is the impact it'll create, and this is what I'm worthy of, and these are my dreams and my goals and my vision, and all these little like rituals, the journaling and the looking after yourself in the morning, it really does increase your self-worthiometer, right? It cranks it up. And I believe the more self-worthy you are, the more you get to attract in this space. So my rituals are all around that. Just me first filling my cup up before I can come and serve other people and speak to customers and team and whoever it might be. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I don't have any specific, like I don't really do affirmations. That's not my jam. I don't know if you guys can hear me if my internet's going unstable. I just got a little notification.
Okay, we can hear you. It froze for a little bit, but I think the key takeaway there was it's self-worth. It's self-leading yourself into self-worth. It's those daily standards and habits and integrations to reiterate that beautiful energy. So last question, Shan. For those here right now that are really ready to play a big game in their business, they're ready to dial things up a notch, they're ready to really start to move the needle in their business, what advice do you have for them right now, right? If they've maybe been around here a while and they're really just wanting to move. We don't really have any secret sauce in this business, but let's hear, like, what would your advice be to these beautiful ladies that want to start to get their business moving to a new level?
My advice would be is to make the choice, but act on it. And I think you can make a decision that, yes, I want this and yep, I'm going for that. But it's a totally different ball game when you fully step into that choice and take the inspired action. I think about the uncomfortable choices that I've made over the years. Like, it was a choice to say yes to this and start a business here, even though it was hard. It was a choice to listen to boring books about money, but I still did it even because I was desperate to learn. It was a choice to take on my mentor's advice of his saving strategy. It was a choice to continue that every 3 months and continue to increase that to 40% eventually. It was a choice to work full 40, 50 hours a week as a nurse, but then come home and work on my business at night, even though I was tired and wanted to go to sleep. It was a choice to do all of these things that were uncomfortable. So my advice would be, I'd love for you to write down, like, what is the choice you have to make? What's the thing that you've been avoiding or procrastinating on, or you're like dancing around it? What is that thing? And are you ready to make a choice to go all in and throw everything you've got at it on that choice? Because the magic that you're searching for is in the work that you're avoiding. And I believe that the moment that you not only make the choice, but take the inspired action, that energetically tells everyone around you, and energetically it just like expands your force field and you become unstoppable. And all of a sudden you start to cultivate these beautiful synchronicities and scenarios and opportunities, and great team join you and awesome customers, they stay on, they reship. All of a sudden, like, everything starts working and everything's moving really beautifully and fluidly. And you're like, oh my God, all I had to do was make the choice. So my advice would be that just stop dancing around what it is that you need to work on and go and do the work, because that's where the magic lies.
Incredible. I feel like that's a huge mic drop moment right there. And Celeste reiterating that in the chat right now, the magic is in the work you are avoiding. So there's choice and there's inspired action. Chani, thank you. We are so incredibly grateful for this time. Like, this is $1 million coaching, ladies, and we just really do value, honor, and appreciate you pouring it into us today. I know everyone is going to be asking me for the list of resources, yes, and all of your favorite books and things. So I'll get them off you after this call. And ladies, I will pop it into the group that we have for this coaching call. But let's drop some love in the chat to beautiful Chani for serving us today. Always so much gold. This will be a clip that so many rewatch as well. So we appreciate you. Just quickly, Shan, what keeps you inspired here in Juice Plus? What's the next chapter for you really look like?
what keeps me inspired is helping women with their financial literacy and to give them a vehicle and the option to create what I've created, because it's fun to create it yourself, but it's no fun when you're alone. Like the beauty about this business is you get to share it and pay that gift forward. And I love nothing else. And I said this to you, Kimberly, when you messaged me the questions. I was like, oh my God, this is my favorite topic. I honestly am so fired up about seeing women step into their financial power for so many reasons, but more importantly, more than anything else, because you all have access to it. We all are equal in that. And so I am just so inspired to excite people about the possibilities of what life can look like when the discipline and the choices are acted upon. So I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the space today to share because what you allowed me to do today is part of my mission statement. And it really lights me up, and it's what I wake up for. And yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Kimberly. I've loved hanging out with you today.
You too. Thank you. Such a servant leader, right? Leadership is a service to be given, and we just feel that in every ounce of your energy. Have a beautiful day, ladies. We'll see you again soon.